Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Funbox Monster Podcast. My name is Tristan.
I am Matt Awkward.
And today we are going to be talking about a movie called The Lamp.
Yeah, The Outing.
A.K.A. The Outing. The version of it that I watched was the version called The Lamp, which is basically the director's cut.
And we've got a stay alive little problem here because I watched The Outing.
Yes.
Which is the crappy cut, apparently.
Evidently, the version is better. I've never seen the original cut, so I don't know.
I've never seen your cut.
Okay.
I've only seen this cut of The Outing. Yeah, I don't like it.
It actually surprises me. This feels like a movie that you would really like.
The problem is, it surprises me too, because by all means, yes, this should be right up my alley. But I've got some problems, and some of them are all on me. And not the movie.
Interesting. Okay.
We'll get to this, but otherwise, yes. Kids hanging out in a museum overnight, getting stalked by a genie, that's super up my alley. And I really feel this movie would benefit from a remake too, with some
think so too.
With some more neat stuff in it. Not that it doesn't have some neat stuff in it, but it could cram in some more in a better way.
I can understand the problem, like the idea that it's disappointing that basically what we have is a slasher when we're set up with a monster movie, with a magical monster movie, and that sets up some, in my mind, there definitely are some there are some expectations with a magical monster.
Yep.
Where you're like, oh man, somebody's gonna get turned into a blind. Somebody's gonna get, magical shit's gonna happen, like something crazy.
I mean, it's a genie.
It's exactly, it can do anything, and people die in very prosaic ways. People are like, I was bitten by a snake.
Yeah.
I was also bitten by a snake.
That's one of my giantest problems. That is the weakest death in the world.
Yeah, that was sad.
And yeah, it's like, instead of doing crazy weird shit, it's just like, I can make things float. I can make things break and fall from the ceiling. Like, cool. Like,
totally,
okay.
I get it.
Which is a cool parlor trick. I can't do it, but like.
I will say that there were a couple. There was the floating spear. There were some of those sorts of things. And that going through the glass case, that was pretty like Argento-y and fun.
Yeah. It's cool. I'm not saying it's stupid.
And also when they get lifted up in the air, especially whoever the Nutty Professor guy was, when he gets lifted up and killed, some really nice Italian, like, creep showy, like, really fun red and blue
You talking about the
lights.
ceiling fan? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
His death was the same death as everybody else, pretty much, but it was just lit really well, and I really enjoyed it.
I just feel if that death was going on in real life, he would kind of like cover up to the ceiling and be like, oh, donk, ow! Can you imagine if that's how the scene worked? Like, I think it would even be better if the genie was like still out, and then the genie was like, got all frustrated, and then like did something really bad.
Have you ever seen a movie do that? That is actually something that would be very funny.
Yeah,
in a movie.
The ceiling fan just bonks his forehead, and he's like, ow!
I really thought that was gonna.
It just hangs on his forehead, it's like.
I really thought that was gonna cut your head off.
Yeah.
I did not know that was gonna be that weak.
That would have
Amazing.
been great.
Yes, that would have been perfect in that situation. Also, hiring a guy that was actually old or just letting him be young would have been fine too, instead of putting baby powder in his hair and being I'm old.
This movie likes making the youngs look old.
Yes, true. Yeah, I guess let's just talk about it. I don't see
it for you.
Listen, there's no fucking rule that says a dog can't play baseball or talk about the movie The Lamp. Okay, so we start off Big Fire Hit Films presents, and I was like, oh man, ooh, that's okay. Let's see.
You talk a big game.
That's some really mighty hubris you got going on there right out of the gate, and it's
like top of the box office production.
Big Money Hustlers presents
100% on Rotten Tomatoes Incorporated.
Huh. All of these things are great slates to put in front of a movie. I will have to remember all of that. Okay. So we get this actually to me was like, this felt really cool because it felt like they were going really far out of their way to do something that was unnecessary but like huge production value moment in this crazy Spanish frigate thing that happens in the beginning. We rise up from total darkness, and we see that we're kind of going towards this Spanish frigate, I think is what it is, in the 1800s.
1893.
Yep.
In Texas.
Yes. And it's in Galveston, which I guess...
We are in Texas.
Yes, we're in Galveston, Texas in the late 1800s, and this ship is just back from Damascus, which is in Syria, and I had to look that up because I had a public school education for most of my life. And everyone on board is dead. We get a real Dracula kind of thing where the ship pulls up and the entire crew is dead, with the exception of one person who's just kind of in the process of dying.
I'm getting there.
I'm almost there. And she was, of course, the last person to die because she was the original master of this genie. And as she dies, the bracelet falls off her arm and has some magic twinkle dust that disappears. It sparkles with a mystical aura.
Okay, I can't recall if this is in the outing or not. I mean, this opening is. But, I don't remember all the dead bodies and bracelets
really?
in this scene at all. No,
Oh,
I just
wow.
remember some guy walking around looking, then he gets blood splattered on the wall, and then that's it.
Right, yeah. There's some guy some
like the guy at the
customs
dock.
agent or something shows up at the dock, and he lasts about 10 seconds before he becomes a big splash of goo on the wall. Or on a crate, I think.
We got another boat carrying a genie lamp.
I mean...
Get the mop.
I assume that because the bracelet falls off, this stops the murders, but it would be a great scene if it just kept stacking bodies for eternity. You just kept sending people in, and they just kept dying until the boat was so stacked with corpses that it sinks.
Yeah.
It just can't handle the weight of all the corpses that have walked on. Yes. So a hand picks up a lantern, but not just any lantern. It's one that looks like the version that everyone knows from Aladdin. Clearly a genie thing. So we cut to modern day, and that is to say 80s modern day. And 3 dirtbags are driving around in a dirtbag van. They're drinking, and they're listening to fake Bob Seger. And
see, this is one of the things that... This is my problem that I was saying. That it's not the movie's problem, but mine. I hate dirtball, bully, break-in and entering thugs like this.
But they get their comeuppance.
Oh, I know they do, but I just don't like them. It's
yeah.
And the thugs we'll get to a little later too. Same kind of thing like Night of the Demons 2 with Z-Boy, where it's just I just hate those dirtbag characters. But like I said, that's on me, not the movie.
Okay,
I just personally don't enjoy it when those jerks show up. I know they get their comeuppance and everything, but I just don't enjoy the dirtbag bullies in a horror movie trope very much.
And
that's a personal thing.
In this case, I'll get to it, but not these guys, but the ones later, they're just the fact
they're psychopaths.
They're legitimate psychopaths, and they get away with everything. Nobody calls them on anything. It's they probably could have murdered someone in that school.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Easy.
worn their skin around for, 3 periods before somebody would be like...
That's it, you're suspended. For a week.
For a week. Exactly. But anyway...
Leave that severed face on the desk on your way out.
I hate this school. You guys are repressing my creativity. Okay. Yes.
So we get 3 dirtbags go into a house because this guy delivers groceries and she knows that this woman is rich and has stuff.
This is so no. Well, yes, essentially, but
wrong.
But the thing that's irritating about it is that it's okay, she's got stuff. She's got what looks like to me a I'm probably smarter than any of these dirtbags, and to me it looks like fucking garbage. It just looks like a house full of garbage. And these guys are yeah, she must have millions of dollars in stacks stuck somewhere. Why would you assume that? Why would you assume that she doesn't have money in a bank?
Because it's a big house full of stuff.
It's she's an old lady. She's been around for a while.
Do they ever say any kind of line I deliver her groceries and she always hands out the money from a box filled with cash? They never say that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
She always has cash and it's old. Whenever she hands it to me, it's from whenever.
Yep.
And so I know that she's got stuff that's been here since the 50s or whatever. Perfect. I would love that. I would be okay, now I understand why you're doing what you're doing. But no, there's no line like that, and it's just inexplicable that they would think she
So
had
do
any
we
money.
know how this lady got the lamp? Wait, was this the lady
Yes.
from the beginning?
No, she's
No.
the daughter. We see a picture of her on the boat. So when we're on the boat,
okay.
there's a picture of the mother and the daughter.
Oh,
And-
that picture. Okay.
And so the thing falls off, and then we see that same photo on her bureau. And so we realize that she is the child of the woman who was the owner
Okay.
of the lamp before.
Gotcha.
And she became the new master of the lamp. What I don't understand, maybe she understood the rules better than this girl did, but she's now the master of the lamp, and nothing happened for 85 years, 100 years,
Did
whatever.
she get all her house and stuff from the genie?
I don't know. I mean, she clearly put it in a trunk and hid it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she does know how to control the genie better.
Does this? You watched the lamp version. Do they say like, does the genie grant wishes in this?
The genie is only bad. I think in this situation,
It's
the genie
kind of
is
like
only
they just
bad.
made a genie, but didn't. He's not a real genie.
Well, I mean, he's a real djinn. Like, djinns are not like granting wishes; they're like monsters.
I like djinns that grant wishes.
I mean, I would definitely prefer that. I actually like have friends who are Muslim who are legitimately like through their childhood were afraid of djinn. Like it was like a thing that was like that's the boogeyman to them. Like 100%, it is like a cultural boogeyman. That is
Okay.
like I mean, it's a fucking terrifying concept just in general. It's like a demon.
Okay, so the djinns don't grant wishes at all, but they live in lamps like genies?
Honestly, no, that's above my pay grade, unfortunately. Sorry. I do not know if
It's above mine, too, because I'm a dumb.
I don't know if the lamp has anything to do with actual history or anything like that. So
So the djinn lives in lamps, though, right?
this one does, yeah.
Okay.
This one does, so let's just stick to that.
Okay.
I will not
So it's
speak
ki-
on
it's kinda like
historical
just like-
precedent.
So you could say, like, the djinn doesn't grant wishes, but if you're going to make a movie about
Right.
something coming out of a lamp,
Sure.
it should fucking grant wishes.
I mean-
especially a dumb horror movie like this. It's not like you need to be historically accurate with these things.
And that would be another element that would be more fun about this. Would be that if there were wishes that were granted and then they went bad.
Yep.
Another element that would be more fun is if the person changed in some noticeable way, or there were any explanation as to why she was possessed by the genie, because that's not part of the thing clearly, because she's the keeper of the lamp. It's supposed to be a whole different story. She's, regardless of anything else, she is the master of that genie in this story too.
The new girl?
Yes.
Okay.
Like when you have the thing, you are still considered the master of the genie.
Okay.
It's possible that this woman, the old lady, lived by herself because every time people came around her, they all got killed. I mean, that would stand to reason. Okay, but either way, we got... I love this. They say that they can home invade this lady. Nobody's going to notice because she's too far out in the woods.
Yep.
All this stuff. But then when they show up, they've got like bags for money. Like they're from the like 1920s. Like they're the Bugle Boys showing up.
Yeah.
Beagle Boys showing up to steal stuff. Great. So they go in. This house is crazy looking. What a great set they chose. It's like plantation,
Yeah, it looks like a big plantation.
slash massive Victorian. Like it's a real mishmash of styles.
Yep.
It literally has, I think, 5 pillars that I saw. Like a lot of pillars.
That's because she has money.
Yeah,
They know it.
more money, more pillars, as they say.
That's the saying.
That's the old saying. But it winds up looking just like a mortuary, which is also a pretty awesome, the version of that. So, okay. There's one lady in the gang, too. I don't know if we mentioned that because they're clearly feminists in this. Not because she needs to show her boobs at some
Oh,
point.
obviously. She doesn't want to.
No,
She's got to go swimming.
Why wouldn't you want to go swimming in the never cleaned pool
Yeah.
of the 100-year-old woman? Yeah. So they go in, they get scared by a parrot, and they walk through a bunch of there's so many hippie beaded curtains too.
It's also like they alternate between trying to be quiet and trying to make as much noise as humanly possible.
Insane. Yeah, wonderful. Another great B movie
Yeah.
trope of just like
Until eventually they're just like, fuck it.
We just kind of forgot what we were here
Yeah.
for. They were like, oh, is she going to hear us? No way. She's sleeping, and she won't wake up because she's too old to hear or something.
Yeah. And then it's just like, screw it, I'm just going to kill her with an axe.
Right. Which, seems like
It's kind of like when you're playing San Andreas and you have to do that mission where you have to sneak in and grab the boxes and sneak back out of the house, and you're just like, you murder everybody. You care about this one old man who's sleeping and you're afraid to wake him up? Like, what the hell? Pop him, CJ.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, and that's it. Like, they have established this thing where they're saying, we're looking for stacks of cash.
Yeah.
Was a thing that they said. And they proceed to fill these giant gunny sacks
With, like, all
with
these
garage
vases
sale
and stuff.
garbage
Yeah, exactly.
that they will never, like, it's, number one, the most identifiable shit in the world that's going to be taken from what is going to be a murder scene.
Yep.
You don't know what it is. It's worthless. Like, you're not an antiques expert. You have no idea what you're doing.
They're
This
puzzes.
is all a terrible, terrible plan. If this was like a hippie thrill killer trope, like one of those, like, we're all Mansonites
Yep.
and we're just coming in here and it's like, that'll give us money to buy acid or whatever, and they do kill her and it's just because they're too crazy to not.
Yep.
Fine. But this doesn't feel like that. And also, why are these guys friends? Like, the two in the back, so the couple is
Yeah,
like...
the guy and the girl. Yep.
There's the girl that looks like she's from the cover of Gator Bait, and there's the dude that looks like he's from the fucking Blue Collar Comedy Tour. So they kind of fit together. But then the main gang leader looks like Travolta from Staying Alive.
Yeah, he's the cool guy. Everybody wants to be with the cool guy.
I guess so. He is the violent psychotic, but when he does something violent and psychotic, they pretty much roll with it.
Yeah,
Like that.
because he's
They
a cool
just-
guy.
yeah. Oh, he must know what he's doing, cutting
Yep.
the head off the old lady.
Yeah.
So they of course also have a crowbar, which I don't know what use that is. I mean, beating an old lady to death, I guess.
And to find money.
Right. Okay, so
Maybe they would use it on a safe if she had a safe they found.
that's true. They get really excited about some costume crap jewelry. Looks like it's clearly paste stuff. The director keeps cutting back to the old lady in bed snoring while it's all going on, and we notice that she's clearly a young lady
Yes.
in old lady makeup, and I don't know why.
My theory was because she gets manhandled so much.
But so much is one hit.
And but she falls on the floor, she gets pushed back on the bed, like that's my guess.
Shoot that from a reverse angle with a stunt guy in a fucking wig.
Either way, that's
know.
just my guess. We're like
That's
we're not
so much
we're not
work.
gonna get an old lady and then throw her around the room. So we need.
That's true. It is interesting though because
But it does take you out of it because it looks obnoxiously like a young
true. It's funny that you say that because it puts me more into it. Because if it had been an old lady, it would almost seem upsetting.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, you're in a shitty movie already.
That could also
and
be a
then
reason.
you see a person in old age makeup and you're like, okay, that's funny. And
Yep.
then they get hit and you're like, well, of course they got stage hit. You see an old lady get hit and you're kind of like, oh,
That's not fun.
that's not fun.
Okay, yeah. I
You've
mean,
taken-
there's a
you've
lot of
taken me
reasons
out of
why it's
that.
a young lady as an old one. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna let it go.
Okay. Let's see. So, they finally get into the old lady's room because they haven't found anything that was worth anything. They filled their bags full of like blenders and garbage, and they're just like, I don't know. Maybe we could get 25 cents
Can't
for
wait
this
to go to the
spoon.
knick-knack pawn shop and trade this in.
We're gonna get a table at the local flea market. We're gonna make $27. This is gonna be the best haul ever. I hope no police show up at the flea market.
Somebody buy these Slim Whitman records, please.
They're really scratched, but there's some sweet yodeling on them. So, Staying Alive era Travolta smashes a giant hole in the wall, exactly where the
That didn't take long
lamp
at all.
is.
He's like, you won't tell us where it is? I'll find it myself.
I know where it is.
Found it.
There it is.
I mean, jam. He's lucky.
Again, we are talking about magical forces, so we can only assume that, again, this is a Tolkien kind of thing where we're, the ring is calling to him, so the lamp is like, hey, get me out of here. Hey, weirdo.
Nah, he's the cool guy.
Hey, weird Travolta.
It's just like punching a jukebox to get and playing a song. He's just like, I'm the cool guy. I hit the wall once and boop, found the treasure.
This is how the Fonz would do a
Yes.
B&E. This would be, yeah. So, pretty good. Okay. So she's wearing the magical bracelet from the intro. We see that. And eventually Travolta's so mad at her that he cuts her head off for legitimately no reason.
Did you see? Oh, she doesn't cut her head off. He just buries the axe.
Yeah,
in her
sorry,
head.
he buries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
I didn't wonder if yours was radically different.
No, it is
than
not
mine.
radically
Okay,
different.
cool,
I'm
cool.
sorry.
Yep.
He puts an axe.
He
in her
puts the
head.
axe in her forehead.
Yeah.
Bunk, and it sticks out of her forehead. And the double-edged axe sticks out of her forehead.
Incredibly important.
Important plot point, actually.
So now that they've murdered the old lady, and it does not bother them at all, they start listening to the stereo, and somehow they get this 1920s radio to pick up some pop stuff. So maybe there's an AM pop station somewhere nearby. Who knows? They just sit around dancing and drinking. They drink like vinegared wine that's in the basement.
Fucks them all up, so they want to go skinny dipping.
Yeah.
And the other guy is just obsessed with the genie lamp he pulled out of the wall.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it is unscrewing itself now. Like he couldn't pry the jewel out. He couldn't get it out with anything. He's like, this thing must be worth money. And then
my question is, like, what was he trying to get it out for, or just to get the jewel?
He just wants the
without
jewel
the
and
lamp.
toss the lamp.
Okay. I was like, what are you? I wasn't thinking that way when I was watching. I was like, what do you possibly think you're gonna? Do you think money's gonna pour out when you open that? Like, what are you trying to get out of this lamp right now?
Maybe you'd find out what frankincense or myrrh is.
Yeah.
Maybe one of those two things is in there. It's really classic, like, dumbass criminal behavior too, to be like, I'm gonna destroy this thing to get the one thing where clearly the piece like is worth the money. There's like a silver frame on this Monet. I'll just rip this shitty painting out of it and I'll hawk this frame. You know, like, it's that kind of thing. Which is a trope for a reason, because the number of times that people are like, you know, will break into a store like mine. Like, we saw this downtown. Somebody, like, smashed a fucking $5,000 POS system to get $200 out of the register. And it's like, dude, there's a $500 POS just sit, or $5,000 POS just sitting right there. Take that, dude.
But where are you going to sell that?
I'd buy it.
Yeah.
Especially if it was mine. Like, listen, I'll give you $500 for that. I really don't want to have to buy that again. That's, God. It's too close to home. All right, okay. Oh yeah, of course. He's watching the jewel unscrew itself from the lamp, and the couple down there, they go for some muskrat loving down by the pool. Yee-hoo! And Gatorbait takes off her shirt, of course. Meanwhile, while they're playing around down there, Granny comes back from the dead because the lamp has been opened.
She's got green eyes now.
She has green eyes.
There's nothing out there style.
Yep, there's an axe in her head, but that does not stop her from grabbing fake Travolta by the back of the head and slamming him down on the axe that is in her head.
Granny is spry.
She sure is. She's durable. That was a great scene. I love it.
I do too.
Definitely the best kill in the whole movie. It almost makes the rest of the kills disappointing.
Yeah.
Because that was creative and weird. But we get what is a returning theme, which is just kind of ghost stuff killing people here.
Yep.
Because
and we get half-assed kills in this. Like the guy in the swimming pool here, we see the little cartoon ghost tendrils come up.
I thought that was pretty okay.
And then he just gets like ripped in half.
Yeah.
But we don't see it.
I mean, it would be so easy to just pull him underwater and just call it good.
Yeah.
The fact that he was torn in half.
But I mean, this is the first of two guys that get torn in half, and we don't see either tear. It's just like
that is true.
It's just like this genie loves halving people, but it's like we can't see it.
That is true. And that second guy, come on, that optical illusion of him
was great.
sitting there was amazing.
Totally
that
great.
Looks really
yeah,
good.
No, I'll give it that. I just wanted to see it happen.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so let's see.
Dude gets torn in half, and the girl gets What happens to her?
She
runs into the house.
Oh my God! Yeah,
we get the naked run.
We get her flopping all around, running through the whole house in a way that looks incredibly painful. She sees all the dead bodies on the way. She's like, "Oh look! Oh, ooh, ee." And a magical force picks her up by the neck and ghost strangles her. Then the lights go out. Cut to cops and ambulances the next day, taking away the corpses.
And it's time for a nap.
Now we get very, 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 very low rent Crockett and Tubbs. Yeah. Like, this dude is, for some reason, they chose to dress him in like a light colored sport jacket with no tie.
I just kind of almost feel like
shoes. It's maybe a joke.
And it's the only time we're ever going to see him in this whole movie. I almost feel like the scene could have just been axed completely.
Oh.
And just like, fuck this. Just go to the museum, have the people be like, we just got this shipment in from a house set.
Yeah.
Old lady died, we just got a bunch of shit. That's all we need. We don't need any of this.
I'm fascinated
especially since the cops don't come back.
Like, I want to know, I mean, it's like they were investors, or like it's like the producer or something, or some friend. I do not know why they are there or what their purpose is.
The whole scene is unnecessary. It's just part of the drag in this movie.
But what happens, there are a couple of things that they do. They could have just done it elsewhere, but this is the beginning of red vision through the jewel from inside the lamp, which I really like.
Oh, it's cool. But that could have been started when they first did the shoot picture. Exactly. What happens then. Yeah.
Yep.
None of this needs to happen.
Yep, they have a pointless conversation about sandwiches.
So pointless.
Yeah, and then, it's weird, but whatever. Okay, so we go to the museum, and there's no establishing shot. Like, that could have been cut, and an establishing shot of this natural history museum.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't be like, are we in a police impound locker? Where are we? We saw cops, and then we saw evidence from a killing. Why would we assume we're in a fucking museum? I would assume this is like an impound thing, but it's not. They just went, I think we can get a couple bucks for this for the cop picnic coming up next week. So
throw a bunch of shit in an egg box and let's go.
Let's do it. But yeah, so they're taking photos of this is pretty cool. The little scene of them taking photos of the lamp on a little Lazy Susan.
I need one of those to take pictures of my tape for Instagram.
I was just thinking about how cool that was, and I was like, maybe I need that kind of setup for like product stuff. I just started selling on Whatnot. That's a great way to do that. That'd be fun.
How's that going?
It's honestly a fucking blast.
Oh, cool.
It's so weird. I was so anti this thing.
You have to like be on video, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we literally have a person who she's doing the front, and I'm just running the computer, and she's like of an energy level that is dangerous, but it's fine. As long as she's contained, it's okay. Man, she is intense.
Yeah.
She's great.
Is it a friend of yours, or?
Yeah, she's just somebody that we knew, and she does Joe Schmelke's stuff for his comic stuff. So she was like, "You need me to do this," and I was like, "I don't think so." She was like, "No, you're doing this," and she basically like kicked the door in and was like, "I'm gonna do this thing for you." It's like, okay, please don't hurt me. So yes, check us out on Whatnot, Coast City Comics.
Yeah, follow Coast City Comics on Instagram to find out when the Whatnot's
sure
down.
Do that stuff. Anyway, so this is really strange. We get a fake old man with a fake Caribbean accent. I think it's a Caribbean accent. It's just a weird accent, and a bland guy in a coat taking photos of a lamp. In the middle of this scene that seems like nothing's going on, a woman dressed as a child, dressed as like Little Debbie or Holly Hobby, walks in. She is dressed insane through this whole movie. She looks like she's wearing jumpers made for toddlers. Everything she wears.
You talking about a lead character?
Yes.
Okay.
She looks like she's wearing like footy pajamas in the rest of the movie. She's got like light blue jeans with like flowers on them, and like, her outfits are terrible.
So this is funny. So my whole time watching this, I just could not place where I had seen this woman before. Mm-hmm. And so I looked it up, and this is her only movie.
Yes.
And then it fucking clicked. She looks just like the girl in Heavy Metal Parking Lot who says she jumped Rob Halford's bones.
God. What if she is?
She looks just like
Is it possible that that's her?
Nobody said it on. Cause I looked up the bones clip on YouTube.
Oh my God.
Dead ringer.
Please tell me that that's her.
I don't know for sure, but man, she looks just like her. She doesn't totally sound like her in the heavy metal parking lot compared to this, but then again,
she isn't
could
drunk
be,
the whole time.
Yeah, right. Holy shit, she looks just like her. Yeah.
Thank you, because this whole time I was just like, "Who is this? Who is this?"
Yeah,
I know this person.
And that's the thing. I was flabbergasted when I saw that
she
she'd
has
only been in this.
Such a
And I was like,
distinctive face.
yeah,
It's
I think it's her.
Oh my God.
I'd jump his bones.
I'd jump his bones. Damn.
You fucked up. Half and half.
Holy shit. Oh, that would be the breakthrough discovery of the millennium, as far as I'm concerned.
But I just feel somebody would have put it together by now if it were
If
true.
you could track that information down and prove it, maybe we just need to send a message to her somehow and be like, "Is that you?
Nah.
Please tell me it's you." Okay, let's see.
She's like half and half. I was like, what?
I don't know what that means. Okay, so this woman who is clearly like 25, 30 years old.
She's in high school.
Something in this scene, they dress her up very much like a child to make her look younger, and they chose the craziest Holly Hobby outfit they possibly could, and she throws an unwarranted fit in front of a co-worker of her father's.
Bro, she wishes her dad would die over barely anything.
And I was like, in this scene, because again, we're not introduced to, honestly, an establishing shot would have fixed this for me a little bit, but it felt like she was saying, oh, you care about this museum and all this stuff, and it's like a passion project, and like it's a failing museum, and it's like they've got like pictures of logs and nothing else, and you're like, oh, well, nobody's gonna fucking come to your pictures of logs exhibit. And then we fucking pan out later on,
whoa,
wait, this is a natural history museum. You have fucking suits
dinosaurs.
You've got dinosaur skeletons and astronaut suits. Like, this is not like some little piddly fucking place.
Yep.
So whatever. She has a blow up, and then they make up and they go to dinner, leaving the fake old guy behind to awkwardly smoke his pipe, which definitely this was the first time he'd ever had a pipe.
Yes.
He looks so awkward with this. I love him to death, but he looks so awkward with that pipe. So before she leaves, she rummages through a big pile of old stuff, and she winds up with the bracelet stuck on her hand.
And she's like, wow, super possibly rare antiques. I think I'll just put this on.
Your dad runs a massive natural history museum. Come on, you gotta know that you don't just put on ancient artifacts.
Thank you.
This would be probably
that goes
rule
for you too, lady. Later on,
putting
putting on the Asia exhibit there.
Who like puts on like probably $500,000 worth of like a Tibetan fucking outfit. Yeah, come on, lady.
Damn, my man's gonna think I'm hot.
Yeah, because if that's real, it's probably made out of 24 karat gold.
Yeah.
So,
Fucking kids.
Fucking kids. I never did those kind of things.
I did worse.
I did so much. I would have been so much worse in these situations.
Oh, yeah.
I love to criticize this stuff as an adult, but I was such a fucking moron as a teenager.
I'm right there with you.
Oh my God, I was the worst. I literally remember a moment when dumb fucking, like, me and some dumbass fucking friends vandalized something in the middle of the night. We were like out skateboarding and, you know, being dickheads. We like kicked over a park bench or something like assholes. And a cop pulls up and he's like, hey, we saw that something, what are you guys out doing? And one of the kids that was with us was like, why? Did you see some like vandalism or something? Did somebody do anything? The cop was like, no. Okay. You can go. We're like, thanks. God fucking Dan, you're such an idiot. Yep. Bad children. Bad children. Okay. So next morning, she has that thing stuck on her. She's just taking it. She doesn't tell her dad or anything.
She's going to live with it now permanently because she can't
decided,
get it off.
She's just decided
like, okay.
This is
This
my
is my
life.
fate.
This is my life
I'm
now.
Bracelet Betty.
It's fine. Dear, are you going to come to the exhibit of the poisoned jewelry soon? The what? The what now? Okay, so, all right. Cut to a kid throwing papers to the Morning Q Zoo theme song. Turns out this kid was just a transition device to get us out of the museum and into the house with the dad.
We stayed on that
daughter.
transition device for several houses.
Why could that be? Could it be that it was their kid that was the producer and the casting director's kid? Why, yes, it was.
Here's another scene where I just feel could be like
the morning
breakfast at the house is so stupid and boring and not funny.
It was stupid, boring, and not funny. And also, this guy is the curator of a massive museum, and he lives in a shithole.
Yeah.
Like, this guy would not live in this place. Like, it's not the house of the curator of the Natural History Museum. You know, it's not going to be that.
And he's a bumbling fool. He's just like...
I mean, this is the nutty professor trope. This is the like, oh, he's just too smart, so he can't think. He can't make toast.
Oh,
but he
I can only research ancient artifacts, but I burn the toast every morning. Burp, burp, burp. Yeah.
I love that they have a toaster that throws the toast out of the toaster. I think we used
That's a safety device. It throws the bread if it catches on fire.
Yeah, so that it lands safely in your newspapers.
Yes.
Yeah. Good call. He's making cappuccino, so we know he's kind of fancy, even though clearly he's in like a real...
Yeah, but he forgot to put coffee in it. Whoops.
They are so stupid. He's late for work, too.
Here's a glass of hot water that you spill.
Yep. He leaves the flaming piece of toast on the ground and goes and gets changed. So his daughter is left to put out the fire, and she's like, "Oh, Dad."
Every morning.
Yeah, he tries to stomp it out with his bare feet.
Yeah.
This is a little much. It's also weird because he's also like dressed in like a Dickensian, like head to toe, like he looks like Scrooge. He's got like a night dress that you wouldn't see outside of England in the 1600s, but whatever, it's fine, doesn't matter. So some preppy dude shows up, and
boyfriend.
Yes, and he picks up Alex in his sweet Volkswagen Cabriolet.
Yeah, I love those cars.
Another Cabriolet showing up. I mean, you know, it's the 80s if a preppy in a Cabriolet shows up.
Oh yeah,
that is the prep. Like, it's also a good match. Like that's just good. That's just good scene setting to have your preppy in a cabriolet, because those two things go together.
They do.
And you also know that he's super cool because he's got croquis on his glasses. So again,
what's croquis?
That was the brand name of that rope that held your sunglasses over your neck.
I didn't know that. Okay.
That was a thing back then.
Oh,
yeah.
I know it was a thing. I just
it
didn't
was
know.
like they had a copyright on
croquis. They're called croquis?
I think the brand was Croquis.
Neat.
Did
they ever? Oh man, you could put those on Oakleys and you'd have Croakleys.
Croakleys,
brah. Except I never wear Oakleys.
Wow. Whatever happened to that brand? They never changed.
Yeah, they were just like, let's
why?
just get douchier.
Like, everybody else is like, okay, this was a bad idea. Let's move on to something else. And Oakley's is like, nope, doubling down.
Dude, put these on and make a video sitting in your front seat of your car.
Make them worse and worse. Advertise to the people that nobody wants to be around. Perfect.
They're great for doing hot takes.
Yes, hottest takes. Let's see. You know, when I ran the surf shop in Old Orchard, we had a display case because the place that we were part
Beach.
of, yeah, we had an Oakley's case,
Yep.
and it had vintage high-end Oakleys. They were like retailed for like $400.
Damn.
So that was crazy, and I bet they're actually probably worth even more. I never even thought about it, that being vintage Oakleys. I bet there are collectors who pay insane money for those.
Sunglass collectors.
Don't know why that
real.
never occurred to me. I was too excited about the fact that I was selling skateboards on the beach and renting out surfboards. Well.
What happened to that place?
It's now storage for beach chairs.
No.
Yeah, it closed down when we decided not to keep going.
Yep.
Nobody wanted to keep going,
Gotcha.
and yeah, now it's literally. I drove past the other day, and it was literally full of beach chairs. It was like, oh wow, you couldn't even rent it out to anything. She kept the old landlord kept threatening that she was gonna sell it to a Dunkin' Donuts. She's like, oh, you guys better be careful. Dunkin' Donuts is gonna come in here, and we're like, you couldn't
No.
legally put a Dunkin' Donuts in here. We barely have running water. There's no way in hell. This is a garage. You can have a surf shop and literally nothing else. And it's Maine, so the surf shop can only operate for 3 months.
Yep.
So stupid. It was also really pretty stupid to run a surf shop, period. Anyway, in non-surf shop related news,
What's going on in Genie World?
so these two are in the car and they're being cute and cuddling, and then, oh my god, vehicular homicide thugs show up from behind them.
Her ex-boyfriend just like rams dude's car, or pretends to ram dude's car.
Sure, but
Just buy it.
yeah, just accept it. It looks good enough. It looks.
I love how he just pulls up close and they play a sound effect like, and the guy behind him like puts on his brakes a little bit so it makes it look like it. Yeah, they fake it. And
honestly,
it's fun.
For no money.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
fun.
it looked great.
It does. It does.
I was impressed by their creativity in that situation.
But yeah, here's the thing. Like, here's another dirtbag character I hate. Like, I hate these kind of people.
Okay, these guys.
But it's like, but this just takes it to a new level. Like you said, vehicular homicide coming through. Like, this isn't just your average punker.
You've never seen anything like this before.
No.
Like this is
guy like, how are you not in jail?
It's every
and then
single
he even
time.
gets busted by the cop here, and it's like he's right back at school.
It's like, okay, so you tried to murder 2 people with your car. A cop saw you screech out into traffic after that. Like, the cop doesn't even take a statement from them, from the 2 people that he was ramming. It's like, if nothing else, like, the dude with the car should probably
Wouldn't
mention...
if he had stopped and be like, this guy just kept ramming my car? Like,
you know, if he wants insurance money, he has to say that, number 1. And number 2, he could probably get a pretty decent settlement out of the fact that he was attacked by him. Like, that's a nice civil case.
But what does he do? No, he just goes to school.
Flips him the bird.
Yeah.
Boop.
I win.
Well, yeah, except that your car's got a smashed-in bumper, and
if he actually got hit.
Well, I'm playing along with the
I know.
with the presumed rules of the movie. Okay.
It's so unrealistic, though. Who wouldn't get out and be like, my car?
Yeah.
He doesn't care at all.
And this is like, so the person is apparently Alex's ex-boyfriend
from 6 months ago. She broke up with him
Jesus.
6 months ago. So are we to assume that this has been going on every day for
Yes,
6 months?
We have to.
That's preposterous.
Because this has to be like at the lowest ebb. Like, this is probably him backing off, because he has we will see later on in this film, he commits multiple felonious assaults in front of teachers.
Yeah, he just punches her in the face later, right?
Principal, he does.
He does, yeah.
In front of, like, he threatens to murder the principal in front of 2 police officers.
After
a
dropping an M-bomb on him.
Yeah, exactly. He throws a fucking racial slur at him, says he will murder him, and the cops are like,
you go sit outside on the sidewalk and watch everybody go on their field trip.
Fuck you. Let's just get you out onto the sidewalk next to the people that you were just trying to stab.
Yeah.
He pulled out a knife and tried to murder a teacher with a knife, and they just put him on the bench in front of the school, and they're like, all right, we
sit here and think about what you did.
Think about what you've done. If you kill somebody, we're going to have a stern talk.
Yeah. And it's not going to be my fault.
No, of course not. But yeah, okay. So a few minutes later, they've let the murderous monster off the hook, and he shows up at high school. This is where he fucking tries to murder his ex-girlfriend in front of the 20 witnesses. Like, everybody just kind of laughs. Like, they see her slammed up against a locker by this insane person, and they're just like, it's this crazy guy.
Oh, he's at it again. Because, again, this 6 months.
This must have been going on this whole time. He pulls a knife on an unarmed kid. He assaults a teacher. But then it's funny because the teacher beats his ass. But it's like, come on, man. No.
Somebody could have died.
Yes.
Easy here.
Very easily. Yep. Yep. He commits the hate crime, threatens to kill a bunch of people. And then it's so funny. God. Okay, so cut to the lady who beat the kid up, and she's revealed to be a teacher in class.
Cool. I bet this scene will be really interesting.
That's true. I bet that it'll drag on because she's married to the person who produced the movie or directed it.
Oh, really?
And is also the casting director for the film. I will say, though...
Everything's falling into place.
Sure
now.
is. I will say, however, I like her a lot. Like, I think she's great in this movie.
Oh, she is fine.
I think
this scene is boring.
Oh, absolutely. I was actually kind of impressed with the fact that it was actual historical, correct historical stuff about Vlad the Impaler. I was like, oh, hey, that actually did happen. Good job. He's like, oh, yeah.
You read a book, movie.
Nice. You looked at the World Book Encyclopedia entry on Vlad the Impaler. Good job. Okay, so let's see. Oh, and so it's like essentially the setup here is where she says, and so you see where the Dracula myth is based on the real horror of Vlad the Impaler. And does anyone have any other comparisons? And Alex raises her hand and she's like, I don't, but is there a real genie and lamp thing like from Aladdin, like the Disney
I just
thing?
want the teacher to walk up slowly, pause, and hit her.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Exactly.
Are you... Get out of my class.
Yeah, exactly.
Get out.
What the fuck, Alex?
What's the historical basis of Smurfs?
Yeah. What's a non sequitur?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Was Bambi a real person?
But the teacher rolls with it.
She does.
And just
It
starts
was
talking
very
about
kind.
talking about djinns. And it doesn't tell, like, here's where it should set up something.
It should.
It should tell you the rules of the genie and stuff like that. So when you find him, but they don't. The djinn's evil. Oh, what's it look like? The things are vague. Some say it looks like a man, some an animal. Cool, it's not going to look like it either. So fuck off. Why is this scene here?
Some say it looks like Manimal.
Yeah.
Fridays at 9 on NBC.
And it turns into a car.
Ooh, it's Turbo Teen.
Yes. It's Turbo Teen Manimal.
If this genie could turn into a car, it would be way cooler.
I think that would be awesome.
Honestly, anything fun and ridiculous.
It turns into Brent's Cabriolet there, and it shows. It's like, oh, it's just my boyfriend. Oh, wait a minute, why would he be driving in the museum?
The Cabriolet follows
It drives
them
through the museum, exactly.
I mean, it would probably be easier than hauling that giant rubber monster around.
Yeah.
It's so funny because for what they did, it feels like these people did not know what they were doing when they made this movie. Like, as far as like...
Really?
Well, in this particular instance, like, just like a producer would have said, you don't need a 10-foot tall genie.
Yeah.
No one is anywhere near it. No one ever touches it. It doesn't touch anyone. It could be 10 inches tall, and you can use the camera to make it look big. It's always covered in fucking smoke.
Yeah.
Always. Just why did you make it so big? You made your lives so difficult.
Yeah.
By doing this.
I wonder where this genie is now.
Oh God, I don't know.
I wonder if it would probably be disintegrating at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was probably made out of foam latex, and that has like an 11-year half-life, unfortunately. Unless somebody sent it away to that company that restores foam latex, that dude. That would be cool if somebody had a fully restored.
Because it does look cool.
It would. I mean, it's a cool looking monster. It looks like it looks a lot like the gate. Looks like the gate monster. Except that the gate knew to make a little guy, and just
what? They built that thing. That was 150 feet tall, bro.
Oh, damn. Is that why that movie cost $500 million?
Yes.
It makes perfect sense now. Although, I mean, saying that, the gate had those people in full-size suits trying to look like they were stop-motion animation that was way cheaper.
They nailed it.
I mean, they nailed it.
I love it.
It's the best. It's the fucking best. I'm so glad they did it that way. But
Let's cover the gate.
Oh,
Again.
Too late. Let's cover the gate 3 when they finally make it. God, I hope somebody does. But okay. So
You think it would be spelled the gate with a 3 for the letter E in the logo?
Fucking hope so.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So, also, not to mention the fact that the two guys who should probably be in a Supermax prison by now, they are literally out there on the
They're
curb
just watching the kids go on their field trip.
planning revenge.
Yeah.
That is their whole deal. So Alex's dad is now hosting her class in the museum, and this was just a scene to have him slip away to get with the teacher. Turns out that he's dating the teacher. Blah blah blah, and that's part of the story.
So here's the thing. Like as I was saying though, I hate the fact that they're being stalked by these psychos.
Yes,
this is a Z-boy thing to me all over.
Yeah,
again. I just hate that. Like I just want these kids to have a good time. Like I mean, I know they're gonna get killed by a genie, but like I just want that to be the big bad. I don't want these normal jerk big bads in the mix. So that's where I'm saying like that's on me, not the movie. Like that I hate.
Sure,
I don't like it.
But also I feel like as far as like agreeing with you on that point, I think that they were misused.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from the fact that there did not need to be a sexual assault in this fucking
God,
movie.
no.
No, absolutely no.
Bad movie, bad.
No excuse for that.
But again, they didn't even kill anybody. So
No.
it's just like, why the fuck would they even have to be there?
I mean,
why couldn't the kids have just been stalked? They don't need to be there. These characters don't need to be in this movie.
There's no point.
Yeah. No.
No. Unless they were going to have a big character arc where they save the day.
That would be acceptable. But,
that would be at least something. Yeah.
but they don't. They're just there to die. There could have been 2 extra friends kicking around. Like,
Yep.
they're just unnecessary, I feel.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So when Alex had her fit earlier about her dad and the dumb museum thing.
I hope you die. What?
Yep. She's finally over that whole thing, and now they're best buddies. And but she gets called away from the group by the bracelet to go play with the lamp. It's calling to her. It's making little sparklies.
She can't resist.
And
She
so
wants those green eyes.
she finds the lamp and rubs it. The jewel starts coming out, and she almost releases the genie. But then the opera singing security guy shows up.
So, funny about this thing. This is the second movie in a row we've done where somebody has gone, Figaro, 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 Figaro.
Fuck yeah. Except this guy actually knew the opera.
Yeah.
Like this guy actually knew all of the lyrics and was an opera singer. So that's a different story.
Do you think he was written to be an opera singer, or he was just...
No chance in hell.
Oh, okay, he's just like, what else do you do? I sing opera. Fucking let's use that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's great.
It also
and
makes him the most inept security guard because, like, it gives anybody that's breaking in there ample time to hide because they can hear him coming from a mile away.
But I mean, that's kind of the deal, is that you never actually expect anyone to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You've done this for years and years.
Yeah.
And also, you have someone else upstairs who's watching security cams.
And
you
eating
don't
candy
assume
bars
that he's been
all the time because he's fat.
not candy bars. He eats juji fruits.
Oh, okay.
Those, because that's the joke at the end, is that those horrible, undigestible, tooth-breaking, monstrous candies kill him in the end. That he was killed by a box of juji fruits, which I was like, that's pretty funny. I kind of like that.
I missed that joke.
It's
I
a
don't-
bad. It's
I don't know if it was in my version.
a terrible, insensitive fat joke, but it's also
Yeah.
it was also kind of funny that it was juji fruits of all the things, because if anyone has ever bought those at the movie, it's like, ugh, what the fuck is this
I
thing?
like them.
Really?
They're hard to eat, though.
Don't they have like
They stick to your teeth.
don't they have like black licorice in them too?
I don't think so. Not that. I mean, maybe a different. Actually, I think there might have been black juji fruits. Yeah. Then there was a red and black ones. Then there was some fruity. Man, I want some juji fruits. In there.
I don't know if they still make them. I can't imagine. Maybe they do.
them.
And then there was like the version of them that were like little pellets, jujubes.
I don't remember those.
Yeah.
You made that up.
Yes. I have a fake degree in candy history. I'm sorry. Don't say it's not real. So, where are we at? Okay. The kids finally decide that they're going to stay at the museum overnight.
Which sounds stupid, but it doesn't when you're a teenager.
No,
and you want somewhere to drink. It's just like,
doesn't.
that's cool.
Yeah. No, it seems like it would be awesome. So they're...
But when they do stay in the museum, they just stay in the basement.
I mean...
that sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. It's too bad.
Remember like Hide and Go Shriek where they were like, let's go play throughout the whole furniture store now because we're hanging out here. These guys are just like, let's stay in the storage closet.
I'm sure, I'm sure that like everything else in this movie, it was a budgetary concern where they had X amount of time with the Natural History Museum and they were, excuse me, just doing what they could. Okay, let's see. Okay, so she's first off saying, you can't do it. They've got security cameras, blah, 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 blah. But then she becomes possessed by the lamp.
And she's like, we can totally do this.
We could totally do this. Now, what would have been interesting if this was doing this thing, it basically does a trope that every 80s horror movie with like a magical, succubus or whatever it is, takes over the person, like your Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2 kind of thing, where it's like, I'm a plain Jane. They set her up to, she dressed like Holly Hobbie, all this shit. It's like, all right, now she's going to show up at this fucking party and she's going to have like fucking black leather pants on and like a halter top.
That would have worked for more.
And like black fingernails and like whatever. Yeah. And everybody's like, you've really changed. I haven't, asshole.
I just let my hair down.
Yeah. But instead she just snaps at people and it's confusing. You're making a genre movie.
It doesn't.
Don't be subtle.
It's also hard too because I don't understand exactly how the possession works because it leaves her. But also she seems
it's only for this one scene.
Like, she seems like the normal character still. So it's like, is she just like half possessed? Like, is it
half and half?
Is it kind of half and half?
Woo! Pulled it together.
Call back.
Call back.
So like, yeah, is a genie just like kind of influencing her, or is it like full on taking control of her?
It's very
hard to tell. Yeah,
and especially again, I said it before, but she is the keeper of the lamp, which makes her.
But then when the genie leaves her later on in the movie too, she's like, "How did I get here?" She doesn't even remember being in the museum later on.
Yeah.
Which tells me the genie was driving the car the whole time, but she acts just like herself the whole time. So how would the genie know how she acts or know all the names of her friends or know, like, it's a bunch of things that don't make
magic.
sense. Oh yeah, that's right.
It's magic. Yeah, but she does occasionally have green eyes. And we don't really. There's no reason. But once she gets the green eye, she's like, I know a way that we can do this, and she's figured out a whole plan to get them inside. So our serial killer versions of Bulk and Skull are in the museum, and they have.
I thought that too.
They have cracked the security pretty deftly by deciding they can hide behind a bookcase.
Right? It's like a counter.
It's
like, let's just hide behind the snack bar.
Like the rest of them are like, I don't know how we're ever going to get in there. There's no way. Every inch of this place is covered by security cameras.
These guys are like, we're just not going to leave.
And he's like, I looked at the security cameras. If you hide behind this bookcase, no one will ever find you. Like, sure. Okay. I mean, granted, he probably is a master criminal or something. I mean, he's everything else. He's every other negative thing a human being can be.
Yes.
So. He also manages to be the most ripped, cut, fat guy I've ever seen in my life. He somehow projects overweight dude and looks fucking insanely built. I do not know how. I gotta figure that out. That's a thing that I need.
Yeah.
Okay, so the museum curator and his fake old friend talk about the warnings on the lamp. They figure out the connection to the old lady who died, and I don't think this walk and talk was in your version because because it was announced by a frame skip, and I think that they found this footage, and you can tell when there's a frame skip, it usually indicates that they have weird stuff. So they do a walk and talk where they just basically, I can see why they'd cut it. They tell us the exact same shit we already knew.
Gotcha.
So,
this movie has a boring scene. Weird.
who knew? So dad and teacher go off and almost get impaled by a falling mammoth tusk.
Yeah.
Sure. And then the Djinn invisibly evil deads through the museum until he gets to the fake Caribbean guy's office and lifts him off the ground and explodes him under some pretty cool lighting. His papers catch fire for some reason that might be significant.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Alex stays behind while all the other kids get on the bus. Her eyes are green again. She's evil. Again, this is the last time she's evil?
I think
she's just no, she's
no,
evil.
because she lets everybody in. It's not till all her friends are there in the basement that she gets the guy leaves. Yeah, it's really wonky.
It's real wonky.
It's not fleshed out.
Yeah, opera singing security guard marches around and sings. I just love it. I love low budget shit that is just we have this, use it.
Use it. It's quirky.
Always use it, and that's just what makes low budget movies so fucking awesome. Alex sends the security guy in the booth away and says that, hey, my dad wants to see you downstairs.
He told me to watch these monitors because I'm totally qualified.
She is like, that doesn't sound like a thing your dad would say, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And so he leaves, and she buzzes them in. They sneak in the back door, and they're all loaded up with sleeping bags and so much shit. They've got big bags of chips and beer and shit.
Don't forget the beer.
Luckily, they always know where the guard is because he's singing at the top of his lungs. Yeah. So, they go to the basement where there's no cameras, and they lock themselves in. And as soon as the door closes, we see the possession end in Alex.
And she's like, how did I even get here? Which she just shrugs off
dude.
Could you imagine if you woke up in a strange building with all your friends and you had no idea how you got there and you were just like,
I would be like, we need to get the fuck out of here. Get me to a CAT scan machine right now. I think I just had a stroke.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
She's like, huh. No, maybe I'll remember later.
Oh. The frivolousness of youth. So security guard goes to check on Dr. Wallace. Found out his name by now. Who is the fake Caribbean guy. And he finds his bloody corpse when it drops on him from above.
And I guess the fire went out.
Yeah. So he's like, oh shit, I gotta go tell somebody. But before he can, a giant African spear raises up from some display and pins him to the display case.
It's cool.
It's a great shot.
Yep.
That is one of the best shots in the movie. So the basement teens are eating chips, drinking beer, and then one of the girls gets beer all over her for important reasons.
Dumb.
It's
kind of this is what happens when somebody pranks you, and if we showed a teen shaking the beer first before giving it to her, this would have worked fine. But she was just like, "Can I have a beer?" It's like, "Here."
Yep. Okay, so this too, but also just in general. I have been in this situation at a party before. Everyone's drunk. You get beer spilled on you.
You just roll with it.
You just fucking roll with it, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh my gosh, I need to find a bath.
You're about to get fucking naked, whatever.
Yeah.
But even more than this, wouldn't this whole thing have worked better if they were just we're going to go couple up? I think it's time that we go someplace. Is there any place we can go? Oh, they've taken all the rooms. You know what? There's a room back there with a shower.
Yeah.
Oh, a shower. Excellent.
Yep.
So the two of them go,
Boom.
and they take a fucking shower together.
Yep.
And then they get killed. They both get killed by snakes. That guy's snake death then gets delayed, and he gets cut in half. And so the two of them getting killed by snakes is not the same death. And then they're like laying over each other naked and covered in blood.
Yeah, you just made it way better.
It would be so much better. It would make more sense, and it would just be better. Oh, well. Okay. So everybody else does split off, and our sociopaths have found some African tribal masks, and they... and, you know, like you do when you're a teenager who's out for mischief, they hear one of the hot girls taking a shower, and they're like, oh, let's go look for something more interesting.
Yeah.
Which I thought was one of the weirdest moments of the movie.
Yeah.
We find out that they're, like, clearly sexual predators in addition to being, like, sociopathic
So why would they
murderers.
ignore
and, like,
that?
Yeah. Nope.
Yep.
So good.
Yeah.
This movie is not smart. And I also like how this movie is, again, like vicious and gross in those kind of ways. And we watched an interview at the end of this thing after watching the movie because there was time before we went to sleep. And everyone was like, and they made a real family atmosphere between I was like, was that when doing the horrifying rape scene? Was that the fucking family friendly thing that you were talking about?
Oh, my brother was a cut up.
Whoa, Jiminy. I do kind of like the reason that they have the masks though for the deaths.
Oh yeah,
that made it worthwhile. So they push a box in front of a door, blocking one of the couples who's making out.
It blocks Alex and what's his nuts in there? Yeah, Cabernet boy. Yeah.
That probably is significant for some reason, but I didn't quite catch what it does for the plot.
It stalls them near the end, I guess.
Yeah, it does. It's not a significant thing.
No, they get out easy enough.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Evidently, Bath Girl's boyfriend was cut in half in a scene that we didn't see.
Yeah.
We basically just cut back to him, and he was cut in half. And then this is the specimen room, which I forgot to mention.
Yep.
There's a bunch of preserved snakes and things in jars on shelves. And they start coming to life, and snakes start pouring out of the jars. I say that. We only see one snake come out of the jar, but later on we will see that it was multiple snakes. And
they had one real snake on hand.
They had one. I mean, it felt like there was more when they were going into the... But it was a cobra, though. It was cool looking. Also, this snake was adorable. Like, straight up adorable when it comes to attack her. But it is a cobra. It goes in, blah, blah, blah. She's taking a bath, which they said it was a shower, and apparently
they said it was a bath.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Okay.
They said it's a gross bath for, like, washing specimens in.
And she said, great.
No, she wasn't thrilled.
I'm there.
But she spilled beer on her shirt.
I mean,
what chance does she have? What other options does she have?
This is the thing that we throw the animal skeletons in to be we put a bunch of beetles in there with them, and then they eat all the meat.
If you feel any burning, it's just residual acid on the tub.
It's formaldehyde.
Yeah.
Don't stay in there for more than a half hour, or you will get cancer. But okay, so she's stung to death. We see her boobs for a split second. There it is. We get
15-year-old me's got a complaint here. When you're watching these movies and couples split off to do deliver.
I will say that is true. That was a very shy boob showing.
And then when we see boobs later on, it's during the rape. That's not fun.
Like,
that's not fun boobs.
All the time.
Yeah, that's not fun boobs at all. I don't want that.
Nobody wants that
So
movie.
it's like, for one, you tease us and give us barely anything, and then you give us some, but it's like, ew.
Yep.
So
totally.
It's just like nudity fail.
Yep. Bad. Okay, so one of the guys gets sent to look for beers in the middle of making out, which was also very confusing. He goes into a room, and sociopath Bulk and Skull lock him in. It is the same room that the lady was just killed by the snakes. or some adjoining room. He winds up walking in and gets killed by snakes, but whatever. So, this is where we get our horrible sexual assault. But
before that, I just want to complain about his death. Like, it sucks so much. Like,
oh yeah.
Because he finds that girl dead.
Yes.
Yeah, who just got bit by snakes very viciously, and we see her get bit a bunch by this cobra. We're like, okay, well, we got a snake death. Cool. Then he walks in there and he's like, oh my god. And then a snake just crawls up his pants and he's like, oh, there's a snake in my pants. Oh, I'm dead now.
There's a snake in my boot, and he dies.
You just had 2 people die from the same fucking snakes?
And
one of them, you didn't even see anything?
One was a mime death.
Yeah.
Boo.
Super boo.
Yep. No good.
You couldn't come up with one cool death for that guy. Like, one better idea than that.
It's
like,
so
come
weird.
On.
It would have been so easy.
It's such a throwaway piece of crap kill. Yeah.
Especially, like, you're in the middle of a natural history museum. There's so much stuff. Like, they do some creative things.
They're in
like,
the specimens. There's not one other specimen that could have come alive and did some shit
exactly.
there?
It could have been a spider, or, like, anything else.
Yeah.
Boo. So, let's see. There was that thing she puts on the $250,000 worth of, like, fucking Nepalese finery that she found on a shelf. 2 sociopaths come in to assault her, and
they come in wearing giant metal masks and Speedos, and that's it.
And that's it.
And then once that happened, I was like, oh no, are they gonna? Oh man.
And then, but we cut away from that from the gross scene to the dad and the teacher having their engagement dinner. She casually mentions that the daughter's going to be picked up at the museum, and the dad goes, "What?"
I couldn't believe this. In the thick of the action, let's go watch some old people eat dinner at a restaurant. Like, what are you doing, movie?
Yeah. Yep.
Her dad doesn't need to come back right now.
His shenanigans senses are tingling. He's got to come back. Whatever. Now Alex and her boyfriend find the unintentional corpse party with 3 dead friends, and she does the requisite scream and shudder, and then she and her boyfriend run off.
And they bump into her dad, who has...
Yeah, we didn't mention how fucking Bulk and Skull died.
Oh, yeah, the African mask.
Oh, so good.
It was cool.
So the sidekick gets lifted up off the ground. He's wearing like a Man in the Iron Mask looking mask. It crushes his head.
It's got a screw in the back that spins by itself and it crushes his head. Yeah.
And then his head spins 360 degrees while he's lifted up off the ground.
Awesome.
No complaints.
Nope.
And then the horned mask that the other guy was wearing flies at him and impales him.
Complaint.
Not so
Same
great.
as a fucking spear death.
It's the same as a spear death.
Same like you did with the snake. You just killed people the same way twice in a row. It's like, this is another one. Another instance. Minus a point.
Yeah.
How do you go from that cool-ass screwhead to that in the same scene and be like... Yeah, you just have this epic... This was awesome.
Well,
now what are you going to do?
Well, I mean, and also that's not how you... listen, far be it from me, but... Come on, if you're going to do it like that, if you have a bad kill and a good kill, maybe ramp up, instead of being like, do the really cool thing and then like, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like, that was such a good moment that following it up with him just like, ow, a thing.
Yeah.
Boo.
All
right. So Alex and her boyfriend, let's see... They're still running. Somehow Dad figures out that they're at the museum. I don't really...
Through a lot of boring talk at dinner.
Yeah, through a lot of boring talk. He calls the museum. Security guy doesn't answer because he's been murdered by jujubes.
And then he's like, something's wrong. I need to go to the museum.
Yep. So Dad and teacher show up at the museum and they can't get in because the guy's dead who would buzz him in normally. But guess what? The genie buzzes them in because he understands how to use the system. So we get some moments of Alex and Ted running through the building. He goes near this mummy case or the
Oh,
mummy.
that was cool.
And I love that there was a fucking no prize for this, that they bothered setting this up. So
Oh, earlier when they were
it's like-
it's getting its case replaced.
why is there no case around it? Well,
Because they
we're
were going to replace the case. But we got to take this one off and leave it off for like a week first.
I got a better idea. Leave the case on until you
Yeah,
have a new fucking
right?
case for it. It's a mummy. It's just like the kids are like, oh, cool. Should we be breathing this? Oh, God,
Yeah.
no. You should not. But
Janitor
anyway-
accidentally hits it with his mop when he's mopping the floor.
Yep. Head
Skull
falls
falls
off.
off, crumbles. Yeah.
Explodes into dust. Yeah.
Don't worry, new case coming next week.
But Ted gets his fingers bitten off, and he's screaming, and he's all unhappy. And then the mummy does a full-on throat bite, and then starts smoking for no reason.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised dude died.
I was surprised that he was dead.
Yeah.
I was surprised that everybody died. I was surprised that
about.
so many people
Yeah.
got killed in this. The fact that it was just the teacher and her at the end,
Yeah,
I thought
Dad
was
died
like,
too. Yeah, crazy.
what a weird way to do this. But Alex finds her dad, and the Djinn shows up, and now we finally see it, and we see it in its big gate monster form. He says, "Keeper, you now care for the lamp. You care for the lamp. Now it will care for you. Your wish is my command." And he replays a conversation where Alex wishes that her dad was dead.
Oh, you lucky duck with your
I
subtitles.
know.
When this genie talks,
Yes.
I could not understand. I did not have
He's the
subtitles, and I could not
mush-mouthed.
understand a word. They put such a deep Dr. Claw filter on him that's just like, oh man.
It is worse than Bane in the original cuts of Batman. So bad. But yes, that is what he says in my subtitles. That was what he said. And
Wait,
so,
the original Bane was harder to hear than
Yeah,
what
yeah.
came out on.
oh yeah, they fixed his. That is a fixed version of his voice.
Oh, I didn't know that.
People complained so much that they were like, okay, we'll tone it down a little bit, and everyone was like, is that you did something? But yeah, evidently.
I don't have too much trouble understanding him, and I actually like that Nolan movie.
I mean, I like the version of Bane that they put in the Harley Quinn cartoon that is based on the Nolan movies.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he's great. I highly recommend it. If you're a fan of The Tick,
I am.
if you would like to see like an adult version of The Tick using
Okay.
all DC characters,
Yeah.
that is the Harley Quinn
that
cartoon.
does sound
It's like legitimately feels like Ben Edlund wrote it.
Nice.
It's awesome. That's my recommendation for today. Watch the Harley Quinn cartoon.
Watch the Harley Quinn cartoon.
Watch the Harley
Watch
Quinn.
the Harley Quinn cartoon.
Yep, that's basically his voice. Beautiful. Okay, so we get this moment where it's like, okay, well, we're gonna have to defend ourselves against the omnipotent, indestructible monster.
Oh, genies have one weakness:
Oh, what is that?
a fire extinguisher.
Looks like somebody's been watching every movie made in the 60s.
Yeah, but don't spray it at him. Just spray it.
Spray it in the air.
Spray it in the air. They hate that shit.
I mean, admittedly, if that guy's been in there for a really long time, everything's going to seem magical to him. Everything's going to sound...
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, maybe it's genie poison. I don't fucking know. Shit, maybe they've developed that. I've been in here for 100 years. And then he's like, okay, I'm okay, right? That wasn't genie poison. Okay, now I'm going to go chase after them.
For the record, because I do dumb shit like this at my work all the time with label makers, I'm going to put genie poison labels on the fire extinguishers.
Blob repellent.
Yeah, that'll pair well with my googly eyes that are all on the posters in the lobby.
Oh, boy. That's
It
great.
will be a joke that only I will find
Only
funny.
you. Those are the best ones.
Yeah, they make me laugh.
Perfect. So we get this scene again where they basically made a less convincing scene by having this thing on a dolly being like sent through the museum because it was 15 feet tall or
Yeah.
whatever, and they could have just had an action figure that would have looked better, but they did not choose that. And
All
so
I can
it's
picture is him
chasing
driving that
around.
white car now.
I mean, the genie in the car.
In the car, yes.
Behind the wheel.
I upped the game. He doesn't turn into the car. He drives it.
So it's just like the end of Gremlins, is what you're saying.
Yes.
He's Gizmo.
Yes.
In this reading, he's the hero.
Well, he doesn't need to grab the wheel. He just stays up in the sky and like
Yeah.
sky mimes
Sure,
it.
right.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to. Okay, so they finally get away. They're like, we've got to get to the computer where the translation was going on.
So they go through this series of like blast doors?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know, man.
Is that just something they had there? Like, I don't get this. Like, what? It's weird.
It's just back hallway stuff, I guess. I no clue. But either way, Dad finds the printout from the guy who actually knows stuff, who got killed at the museums, and he's got translations of what was on the lamp. And so we're waiting and waiting and waiting for real info, and it's like trying to build up the tension, which it kind of does. It's not bad. But then Dad says one of those lines that is so frustrating when you're watching a movie like this, where you're like, well, we've known since the beginning of the movie what's going on, and then you have a character say something so prosaically stupid where you're like,
what's the line
the line he says is, it's a genie, a real one. It's like, motherfucker, we've been here for an hour and 10.
Yeah.
We've already been there for an hour and 10 minutes.
We've
and
watched the lamp get rubbed several times. We talked about a genie in class.
Guy, come on, man. But thanks, fucking whatever. Thanks, Chief Inspector. Anyway, okay, so he types really fast because he's like hacking into the system. You know, he's got
to hack into the mainframe.
Quick, we gotta type fast. The faster you type,
Got to enter more algorithmic parameters.
The more translation
Yeah.
will have been done.
We need the computer to translate the lamp so we can know how to kill the genie, because what's on the lamp will obviously be instructions on how to kill a genie.
And also,
we don't know what it is, but we know this is going to help us. What?
And don't forget my favorite part, which is the fact that they waste. So they're waiting for this thing to print out or whatever else or whatever it's going to do to translate or go through. And they're wasting. They've got this fucking 5K of memory on this machine, and they've wasted at least 4 of it on this rotating vector graphic of a lamp.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude.
The inscriptions on the lamp could have just been like a gift, like a watch, like
yeah. But this one,
to my dearest John, enjoy this lamp, have fun rubbing it out.
Please rub one out.
Your love, Eleanor. Yeah, like they're gonna spend all that time translating behind the blast doors and just got something stupid. Like, they didn't know what they were getting, but somehow they knew they were gonna get the magic key they needed, and magic key they needed was just so fucking dumb. Like, destroy the lamp.
It's like it would be the first thing you'd try.
This would be the first thing and I love the computer graphic too, when the translation's finally complete and the computer starts blinking, destroy lamp to kill Djinn. Destroy lamp to kill Djinn. I was like, you're fucking kidding me, movie, right?
Yeah, no, it's not. It was not kidding you. That was so, I mean, and reasonably, that would have to be something that was programmed into the computer to do that.
Yeah.
So this guy from before had programmed this thing. So he was just typing in run : /genie program
flash display answer.
Yes. And then it comes up. So perfect. But so they need to destroy the lamp. And the family runs out of the museum. They go into
the genie is bursted through all the doors.
Yeah. And so they go into the woods. He's hot on their heels, and
this part angers me so much.
Yeah, I mean,
the dad falls down, and he's like, "Oh, just run! Don't stop! Run!" And they're like, "Okay, bye, peace." And then they run, and then they bump into him again after they've ran straight forward. And they don't put it together for a second that that's not the dad. Like, oh, hey, you're absolutely physically impossible for you to be here now. Okay, we'll follow you. Wait,
perfect.
What?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, they're out of their minds.
I know they're out of their minds, but like, come on, man.
Either way.
And it's not surprising for the viewer either, because we know it's not him.
It's also confusing because it feels like they originally meant for the teacher to die here and then just change their minds.
Yeah, I think
Because
so.
their answer for why she was alive later on. So we'll get to it, but okay. So the daughter Alex breaks off on her own because clearly father was dead, teacher's probably dead.
Yeah.
She goes to the basement. She finds the lamp, runs down to some sort of incinerator that they have there to get rid of probably, I don't know, toxic mummy parts or something. I don't know. And she throws it in, burns it, blah, 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 blah.
We get a really cheap fireworks display.
Yep. It's pretty cheap. And but the Djinn is now dead, and the teacher comes out and she's like, I guess he was more interested in chasing after you than killing me. And it's like, he's a fucking genie.
Yeah. What do you know, bitch?
Yeah, could have just killed. I mean, unless they had planned or is it ending where the teacher's eyes turned green and they just
that would've
decided
been
that they
good.
didn't like it? Because that really is like, that's not an answer. Like the fact that literally the genie had its hand on her. Like she reaches down to see the dad, and it's the genie, and it literally is holding on to her physically. It hasn't needed to be anywhere near anyone up until this point.
Yeah.
And she survived it, so it's like she would have to be the genie.
That's a good idea.
I mean, it seems like a better idea than just freeze framing on her.
You know what also is a good idea? Freeze framing on like the most awkward face you could possibly freeze frame on.
Also, yeah, and also our end of the movie scare, our like, oh no, jump scare, he's still alive, is somebody jingling Pepsi bottles.
Yeah.
She's like, oh no, it's the sound of the bracelet. Oh no, it's not.
I thought that was 50% clever and 50% dumb.
Yes.
Mike, I mean, that's a pretty clever like way to simulate the glass clinking of the
Sure.
bracelet.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that.
I agree.
But at the same time, you're like, what, okay.
But also, Pepsi bottles is not scary.
No.
It's also a very unscary thing, so it seems like kind of a waste. But yeah, there it is. I like it. I enjoy this movie. It's
I don't
silly.
I don't hate it, but I just feel like there's so much things that could be improved, and I feel like there's way too many slog scenes that just go on too long. Like it takes too long to get moving.
Yeah.
Frankly, in my book.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it's one of those things where they just, if they had punched it up, it would have been more fun. Like the jokes, there aren't jokes that work. There's like little charming moments that fall flat, especially between the daughter and father. And it's like, if there were some funny parts, if it was less creepy with the fucking sociopaths, that would be better.
That's the thing. Like, I almost feel like you cut the sociopaths out of it entirely.
Yeah,
Just give the group of
I
kids
would love that.
two extra friends. We don't need their antics. Nothing pays off with them. They just die like any other teen. So, like, just don't be so mean-spirited with that shit. I feel like the whole boat scene in the open, giving the whole origin of the genie, is just over ambitious for ambitiousness' sake. We don't need any of that. I almost even don't know if we even need the old lady scene in the beginning, even finding the lamp. We could have just opened in the museum and being like, we got the shipment in of weird artifacts from this dig somewhere, and here's a lamp. Like, I don't feel like the old lady story. I mean, I get it. It's like a hook, kind of.
It is.
And we
I
see
mean,
like the kills in the beginning, which is fine.
If what you're,
But
yeah,
I just
you.
want to fast pace this shit up. Like,
I definitely agree that the boat did not need to be there. That also has the feeling of, we had access to this boat, and so we rode it into this thing. Which again, it's
like the director's brother is a captain on like one of these historical learning vessels. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And we can get there for free, whatever. And I always appreciate that. It's always a moment. I always like to think inside these movies, because that's part of the beauty, is the fact that they're being made on a shoestring.
Yep. And
that you're really you're trying everything you can to keep the audience's attention. And one of the magic things that happens in low budget movies is that in trying to keep the audience's attention and adding these things that are just available to you, some incredible non sequitur nonsense happens. And I feel like that happens in this movie.
Yeah.
Like there's just moments of just utter bizarre chaos that you're like, okay, why is this guy singing opera? Like the magical opera singing security guard, and like it's so good.
I also feel like the teens aren't interesting. Like there's no real.
No, I agree.
They're not interesting, and they don't do anything interesting. Like take a similar movie like Night of the Demons.
Yep.
The teens are cool. We get to the house.
Yep.
They do a seance, you know. They do the dance, the you know what I mean? They do stuff. These teens just go in and like they sit in a basement and they eat potato chips. It's like neat.
Exactly. Yeah, get rid of
play some strip poker, do something fun and sexy. Like they do nothing.
You have that amazing outfit that you put that girl in.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I got an idea. No assault.
Yeah.
Cut it entirely. She strips for her boyfriend wearing that amazing outfit.
Yeah.
That's how you get the boobs in if you're going to do it.
And then since that's for the Asian exhibit, the genie takes over a samurai statue or something.
Sure.
And she gets killed in a
exactly
that way. Yeah. Make
something
something
like that.
Link it. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's not the worst movie, but it's never clicked with me. I remember telling you when you asked me to do this movie, I was like, I traded the tape because I hate it. But then I honestly, that was years and years ago. I'm just like, I don't even remember why I hated it. And then I watched it and I'm just like, okay, I don't.
Now I remember why I hated it.
Yeah, and I will say I don't hate it, but it's definitely not a movie that I enjoy that much.
I don't know how much was added to it that was of any value, especially talking to you about it now. I think that probably you got almost everything. They said that they added, I can't remember how much they said they added now that I think about it, but there were at least 2 major scenes that they found and had to put in. And you can see where they are when you're watching it, like I said before, because there's weirdness. They were like, it was the best we could do. There's actually even like a little warning at the beginning that's like, sorry, we know it looks a little weird, but this was the best we could do with it.
Yep.
And it's a great restore. Like the blue looks great. Yeah, I can see this not being high on somebody's list, but it's got all the things that you need, as far as I'm concerned.
And who put that blue out?
Oh shit, I don't remember. I think, was it Vinegar Syndrome?
It is Vinegar Syndrome.
Of course it was Vinegar Syndrome. Hey, we're going to be
where can you get Vinegar Syndrome?
Soon you're going to be able to get it from Coast City Comics. We just got our account with Vinegar Syndrome.
Coast City Comics is getting Vinegar Syndrome Blu-rays in?
Yes, and Severin and also Arrow. So
what?
So yeah. They'll actually
You're talking
do
about
something.
Coast City Comics that we're at right now in Portland, Maine.
Yes, where we're actually sitting at this very moment. I'm sitting behind the very desk where I do capitalisms.
And if you're not in Portland, Maine, you can still get these things from here, right?
Yes, at coastcitycomics.com.
Yeah.
Do that thing.
And buy a Funbox Monster Podcast t-shirt while you're there.
Do that other thing. Thank you. And rate and review us. We'd appreciate that stuff. That's really nice. We got another one. I really appreciated it. Thank you for that. And I saw that and I went, oh, neat. People are still paying attention. That's cool.
You can write reviews on Spotify now, I've heard.
Oh, is that true?
Somebody told me that.
Okay, please do that then.
Yeah.
That would be great. Yeah, please rate us on Spotify. That would be awesome.
Hey, I use Spotify. I can rate us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Even if you've already rated us elsewhere, please rate us on Spotify.
This review might be biased.
But I think it's the best.
Yeah.
Signed, Sarah Kaling.
It's the best podcast I do every week.
I think it's in my top 2. Awesome. Well, thank you for listening. We really appreciate it, and I don't have no idea what we're gonna do next week, but it'll be something great.
We never have that idea until like Monday usually.
Perfect. I'll try and figure something out. All right, we will see you then. Have a lovely evening.
Peace.
Bye.